This video, I'm going to be going over basically a high-level overview of the location tree editor in version 13.1. So to start, I have my location tree editor open already. There's a couple different ways that you can get to it. You can add it into your admin panel if you would like. Customization, if you right-click, go to Customization. Locations editor here. Or if you've already exposed the storage ID group object into your field layout, you can also launch the location editor directly from this little pencil icon. On top of that, you can also launch it from the Add Edit menu. So under Location, Add Edit Location Options, we're going to see Location Tree at the top. So all of those are going to launch the Location Tree editor for you. And once you're in here, I already have a bunch of locations built out, but let me actually go through it. I'm going to delete my test company, and let's go through the settings. So in the top left-hand corner, we have the Options tab, and if you drop that down, you'll see three different options. Convert by level locations to location tree structure, convert equipment to new location structure, and location tree setup. So location tree setup is where you are going to want to begin if you are just starting to configure your location tree for your usage. We have a preferences section in the top and level configuration in the bottom. So in the preferences here, we have this option to use unique location names, the checkbox to have a base level location must always be a company. And if you have this checked, then you can also enable this checkbox to restrict users to their default location company only, which would pull from their user location settings. So whatever, let me go back and show you. Whatever company you have set in your default companies under the locations list here, that is what it would default and limit the user to. And on top of that, we have the maximum amount of levels. So you can adjust this up to 10. So you can have up to 10 levels in your location tree structure. I'm going to stick with 5. In the level configuration grid, you can adjust the default icons that would be pulled in when creating these location levels. There is a predefined list to select from here. You can also check on or uncheck the is storage. So that would default when you're creating the location to having the is storage checkbox either unchecked or checked. You can also assign a level alias, so that would come in handy when you're doing search bias specifically. So instead of searching on level 1 or level 3, I would be searching on building or shelf. So now that we have that set up, let's go through a very quick run through of the convert by level locations to location tree structure. So what that's going to do is give you the option to essentially convert your add edit list from the old location structure to the new location tree structure. So that you have the option here for locations and sublocations, as well as cribs and bins. So you have to first select which structure to convert and then select the company list that you would like to pull in. So in my example, I'm going to use test company because I just deleted it. So it's going to pull in one location here, and I will check this. You can check or uncheck. I already previously deleted my test company base level, but you can also check this if you're just re-importing or converting. So let's do that. It's going to run through, give you a little notice that the conversion completed. You can continue as well if you would like. That it's going to show you a little message of how many locations there are. So I can see if I wanted to do BCD company for locations and sublocations, it would pull in 3. So let's just do that as well. Then when we close out, it's going to go through and rebuild those for us automatically. Now I can see in my BCD company, I've got the BCD location 1, BCD location 2, and foreign characters that we were testing with. And then I have test company section 17 as my building and subloc 1. So because I have a maximum of 5 levels, if I try to create a new child location here, I will get a warning message that stops me. Locations cannot be more than 5 levels deep. If I go back to my Angie's Desk child and I try to create a child location, you'll see how my icon defaults in for my location tree setup, as well as the is storage checkbox. So in theory, all I need to do is enter the name, click OK, and all good. So along with that, in the location tree editor, I'm going to skip over the employee section for now here in the bottom. But you do have the ability to associate employees with different locations. So like for example, on my Angie's Desk, I have my Angelina employee associated here. But the one I'm going to focus on is this right-hand panel. So this is my equipment information. You can toggle this on and off using this button right in the top menu, show equipment for locations. So if I untoggle that, there we go, it'll go away, close the panel, and toggle it back on. There we go. At this point here, I can get an overview of what equipment is associated with this particular location. So, for example, if I go to Angie's office, I can see I have 2 pieces of equipment associated in Angie's office. Now, that doesn't mean specifically I have 2 pieces of equipment in the Angie's office location, but in my children location, there are 2 pieces of equipment that make up Angie's office. I can see the total here as well. So if I go into this grid and I highlight each individual piece of equipment, I can see their breadcrumb will change on the bottom, and I can actually further determine exactly where this equipment is. So for Ange_test ID, this is going to be on Angie's Desk shelf. So right here on my 5th level, where Ange test is, and you can see now I have a total of 1 when I select it. And if I go back up to Ange's office and I go to Ange test 2, I can see this one is on Ange's desk. So if I go to Ange's desk, I can see I've got my Ange test 2 as well as my Ange test, since that is a child of Ange's desk. So let's now go back over to the equipment view and how you can use the new storage ID object in your field layout. So if you customize as a system administrator, if you customize, you'll see you search around for a new group. There is one called storage ID. So the group is storage ID, and there's one dynamic field underneath called storage ID. This grid automatically will adjust for us. So if I go back here and I change my location, I'm going to see the location tree structured grid essentially, so I'm able to further choose where I want this equipment to go. So let's go up 1 to Angie's Desk Child. So you'll see that my grid dynamically updated and my level 4 Angie's Desk Child is now highlighted in bold. So that's how I can tell that that is the current location of this gauge. or the current storage ID. And if I go back to my edit storage ID link here, I also have a couple of other options. So in the bottom, I can see the current location breadcrumb here of Andrew's Desk Child, Andrew's Desk, Andrew's Office, and ABC Company. So that is where my equipment is currently. If I go and change my company, I'm no longer seeing that same list under ABC Company or Andrew's Office, but I can still see that that is where my Ange test gauge is currently. So when I go to change it, I know the reference of the current location. I can launch the location tree editor, and then I can also clear location and exit. So if I do that, we'll see this reverts back to none. So let me go ahead and put this one into Ange's Desk shelf, and you'll see how it folds my shelf here. And my aliases are also going to come into my equipment view, so building and shelf versus level 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And same thing in the equipment finder. So we have new fields to search on in the advanced equipment selection related to storage ID. Storage ID breadcrumb, and then I also have my level 1, level 2, or aliased as building, level 3, level 4, and then level 5 aliased as shelf. So if I just go onto storage ID and I search on a particular location, what's really nice about this is that you can see the structure. So you can see that this is my base level of ABC Company. Here's my level 2, level 3, level 4, and level 5. It's expandable and collapsible as well, so it's easy to sort through. Now, one thing to keep note of with the storage ID search field to search on specifically, it's not going to show you any equipment in those children locations. So, for example, if I choose Ange's Office, contrary to how it shows like in my location tree editor, where I can see Ange's Office, I have 2 equipment underneath. Just on the storage ID field, and I do a search for the filter, I can see that this returns 0 pieces of equipment. Because if you're using the storage ID field to search on, it is only going to pull in any equipment on Ange's Office, this level itself. So Ange's Office is not a storage location, so I cannot select it. If I try to link, you'll see that these are italicized and kind of grayed out, so I cannot store equipment at this location. And then if we go back to the equipment finder, so that is the storage ID field, but contrary to that, the other fields do behave like the equipment locations show in the location tree editor. So for example, if I search on building, storage ID building is exactly ABC Company Ange's Office. And if I do a test of the search, I'll see that this filter will return 2 pieces of equipment. And along with that, if I pull these into my results grid, I have new fields that I can pull in as well. So I can customize these fields to pull in storage ID level 1, building, level 3, 4, shelf. And at this point I can go and search through and see that each of these equipment are at different locations under the storage ID building of Ange's Office. Thank you.